Evening, Angela. How's it going? Starting a few minutes early. Let the old stragglers come in. Mind you, I'm 10 minutes early, but never mind. Oh, it's bleeding cold again. Bloody freezing cold. Yeah, it is okay. Like, went on days, as you know. Did mine for a while first and days after. I went on Nubs last night as well. And I hope Nubs might come on tonight and maybe Matt might try to jump in. Dave's going to be on, hopefully. So I thought, let's talk Miss like Bloody Mary. I'll probably do that more later because I've not done no research on that one, but I did do a little bit of research on the Hat Man and the Slender Man tonight. Done a few notes. That's the Slender Man notes, and that's the Hat Man notes. So I want to try to get opinions on other people, or I should say, I want to get other people's opinions on what they think the Hat Man and the Slender Man is. In one way, what I've read is that there is a kind of little similarity because, like the Hat Man, although he wears a hat, the Slender Man is also known to be wearing the same kind of hat as the Hat Man. A bowler hat or some other kind of form of hat. Hello, Jane. Yeah, the old dog man. We did talk about it again early this morning after Nubs, because Dave done a stream after Nubs. I did say to Nubs if he wants to come on tonight, feel free to. Same with Mags and Dave and a few other people. We'll have to see what happens, I suppose. No one comes on, I won't bloody well bother. Oh, my feet are freezing again. So I started about 10 minutes early because I just wanted to get people to start slowly coming in. Because I've noticed that when I start the stream, it takes a while for people to start coming in. So, yeah, I thought I'd just come on and let the old stragglers come in slowly. And I can sit here and drink my coffee and see who comes on. Dave should be on. He did say he would be on. Hello, Jamie. Jamie can come on as well in a little while if he likes. Hello, Shrimp. I woke up at 5 a.m. this morning. You lot, yeah, we were still streaming, thanks to Dave. We're streaming till about 8 o'clock. I'll tell you, I slept most of the day, but neighbours were banging so bloody loud, they woke me up. I just banged on the wall, trying to let them know, that they're making too much noise. But even me banging back, they still continue banging. So I was hoping to stay in bed till about 7 o'clock tonight, but I got up at 6 because of the noise I was making. Fucking neighbours. One of these days, I'm going to go and speak to her about the noise, and I'm going to say, look, I know it ain't your fault, but it is your fault in one way because you've got too many kids and the kids are just making way too much noise. I can understand, walking around. Yeah, that's okay, but when they jump about and banging, that ain't good for me and the other neighbours. I don't know the other neighbours across the hall can actually hear it, but I'm not underneath it. So I'm going to tell her if it keeps on, I'm going to put a report in. Maybe putting a report in on her might help her get another location, another house, because she keeps saying that she wants to move, but she's not doing nothing that I know to help herself to move. Let's try to warm my poor little Tootsie toes up. My feet are freezing. Woke up before 12. I was still in bed sleeping then. I know I got up a couple of times to go to the bathroom, but no, them bastards upstairs, excuse my French, kept waking me up. So, yeah. Oh dear. It's so cold though, isn't it? I noticed there was a gathering in London, I think it was today, regarding that Sarah who got kidnapped and killed. Is a big kind of like protest against the police, and I'm not going in depth about it because I think like it says London police criticise overhandling of dead woman. Right. Hundreds of protesters chant "Shame on you" before march to Parliament Square, and there was like hundreds and hundreds of people there. Let's see. And I was like spitting and bashing the cars, and I was like assaulting the police officers and stuff like that. So I don't think they should really be doing that because, like, the police ain't too bad. Yeah, you got some crooked ones and corrupt ones and shit like that that deserve it. But I reckon like a good 80% of police are pretty good. They are supposed to help and protect us. But what can you do? Probably quite a few people got arrested there today. Well, what time is it now? 3 minutes to 9. Lockdown has changed me enormously. I think it's changed a lot of people, mate. It's changed a lot of people. We can't get out and do the things what we want to do, can we? Some people feel that they're better off being indoors, but I don't. I need to get out sometimes. No, I won't go out in the cold weather, no way, but if I need to, I will do. But on a hot sunny day, I've got to be out. I can't be sitting in here. All right, Ian. Yeah, I know what you mean. I'm not working, so I haven't worked for a while, actually. I won't say how long I've not worked for, because I wouldn't like to say, to be honest with you, but, if I start talking about certain stuff, it's going to put me in that predicament where people can use it against me later on when they start picking on me again, and I'm not having that. My feet are freezing cold. So when I see Dave come on, I'll drop the link, and if anyone else wants to come in, they can jump in. Got to be kind of careful with the haters and the trolls. So I think I saw something on Dave's yesterday that he dropped the link, and some guy came on with a particular toy, and Dave's able to like kicking that straight away. So I hope you're all doing okay. Sitting indoors, watching TV, keeping warm, drinking plenty of fluids, coffee, tea, drinking chocolate, cocoa, water, whatever. Yeah, it is quieter in the morning, you know, because you ain't got the heavy traffic. I suppose like at night time as well, you know, it's quite nice to get out for a little walk time to time. Oh, I'm not going to say what kind of toy. It was a naughty toy, apparently. But I won't say much. I don't know. If Dave wants anyone to know about it. But you know me, I absolutely need to go and say things I ain't supposed to say. Asda, no, I don't know. I know Sainsbury's is supposed to be open 24 hours. Um, because of lockdown, I suppose they probably do shut early now. I'm a toy, yeah. Little toy Steve. Would anyone like to come and play and cuddle me? That sounded a bit weird. Play and cuddle me. So I don't think before I speak, you know, sometimes that sounds a bit weird, don't it? Play with me. Play with me in what way? Well, you can play with me with playing cards and poker and, you know, chess and drafts and stuff like that. Although I've got none of those kind of things here. I've got some cards somewhere, but where they are, I don't know. I did have a poker kit somewhere, but where that is, I don't know. Um, but yeah, I was hoping to do a bit more tidying up today, but because we had a late night or late morning this morning, we didn't. I didn't. Barbie, Stephanie, not Steve. Thank you very much, Jane. Love you too. Barbie, Stephanie. Well, Dave's late. It's gone 9 o'clock. Typical for Dave. Maybe he's still sleeping. Maybe he overslept. Maybe he didn't sleep until later in the afternoon and decided to go to sleep and he's not awake yet. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. Like, you know, I'll give it about another 10 minutes so we trumbles in. Um, so yeah, like I see that there's some gaming companies out now making some games like up for the I know there's definitely a Slender Man game out there. I think they've got what's the other one? A Hatman game out there as well. You've got like Poltergeist game out there. You've also got a game called Paranormal. You got one called Cipher or Cipher. You got quite a few new games out there. Got a few new ones coming out this year on the Paranormal. Um, what was that other one? Uh, Phasmophobia is a ghost hunting kind of game. Somebody didn't have his number. I fucking text him. I say, get your ass up. Let's get the old stream. No, I won't do that. Fuck it. If it comes on, I'll just post the StreamYard link in the side chat. I think everyone's waiting for the day for Dave to come on now, so we can start talking about it. I don't know to talk about. Hat-Man first or Slender Man? I've got more notes on the Slender Man. I might talk about Bloody Mary. I don't know yet. Might change that to something else. See, all these are just myths. They can't really be proven. Although people had some kind of strange experience and documenting them down, it's not real proof that any of these have really happened. I've not kind of written notes down on how many people have been affected by it or seen them, or if there's any possible cases of people being kidnapped by these so-called mystical kind of creatures. You want to call them mystical creatures, because that's what some people reckon they could be. Is it just a myth or interdimensional beings? I don't know what it is. I'll see these on Facebook. Give them a quick PM on Facebook. Right, I just said, come on, you're late for the stream. Laugh out loud. So I've just sent him a message on Facebook. Oh, there you are. Fucking hell. I told you he'd be late. You probably was oversleeping, weren't you, mate? All these late nights. Right, so let's get the link. If anyone wants to jump in with myself and Dave, feel free to have a chat about the topics, Hat-Man and Slender Man. And so we might talk about Bloody Mary later. I don't know yet, because I don't know really much about Bloody Mary, and I didn't take the time to do any research on it. So I wanted to watch a documentary on the trucker killings based in America, where a truck driver went around picking up hitchhikers and raping and killing. And apparently there's meant to have been about 50 victims, but he wasn't ready to plead guilty on practically any of them. It's only through evidence that they were found, and instead of being executed, he was given life in prison without any possible probation. Is that link not working? That should be working. He's probably having a cup of tea or something, stuffing his face with biscuits. Oh, there he is. Stuffing his face with biscuits, I bet, weren't you?
No, I was spreading the word, actually, trying to get a few people in and reminding Matthew and such.
Oh, thank you very much, sir.
No worries, buddy. How are you doing?
Do you think these topics should be okay for tonight, or do you want to change them for something else?
Yeah, we can wing it as we go along, I think, can't we? Make it up as we go along, see what happens.
Yep. Yeah. We'll give a few more minutes see if any others come in, because I don't want to be starting it and then suddenly changing over to the next topic and they start coming in and we have to go back onto the first topic again. I did do some notes. I've done notes. I've done some research.
Excellent. Good stuff.
So I'll be reading my notes because I can't remember what I fucking wrote. You probably know a lot more about these anyway, but as I said, Hat-Man and Slender Man are supposed to be more myths than anything else, because we can't. We can't really prove that they really exist. Just any kind of paranormal. There hasn't really been any real documentation.
Hello, guys.
Hello, Jamie. There ain't been any real documentation about people going missing or any police reports. I don't think. Not that I could find anyway. There probably might be, but can you imagine someone going into the police station and say that, oh, my husband, well, not my husband, because it's more mainly involved in like children and young teens. Can you imagine someone going in and saying my teenager has been kidnapped by the Slender Man?
I think it'd be amazing, given the fact of where Slender Man originated from.
Hello, Jane.
Well,
What's it about Slender Man?
That's one thing I couldn't find where he was originated, but apparently, I'll read out what I've got here, and then we can go on from there. You can give your opinion, and then Jamie can give his opinion, and we just chat about each other's opinions or whatever. And then later, when we want to Hatman. So, Slender Man, supernatural creature, legend, myth, or is he real?
Don't really know anything about him.
He's supposed to be a tall humanoid creature that dresses all in black, apart from his shirt and his tie. His tie's black, his shirt's white. He's got long arms. Some say that he's got like tentacles or some kind of like tree branches that stick out like an octopus. Some say he's just like a tall, thin man without no face. He's got a pale face. It's kind of normal looking to most people, just that you can't see any facial things on his face.
Features.
Where is
He's long and bony, tall and bony. He has kind of like normal looking hands, but his fingers are very long. Very long fingers. His height is between 6 to 7 feet tall. Maybe sometimes some people have said up to 10 to 12 feet. One person said that he believes he could be 18 feet tall. Some say that he can change his appearance. So the appearance being like he could be like, he could look like a humanoid, but suddenly he can change his appearance with those kind of things that goes out with his body that makes it look like he's a part of a tree structure or something.
Has there ever been any witness accounts of him?
Well, there's quite a few that they say they've seen him, but that can be put down to imagination, really, can't it?
Not really sure.
He's seen mostly in woodlands, and he mainly stalks his victims before he chooses one to adopt one and possibly kill them. Now, he normally takes children, but he's also known to take teenagers. He takes his victims into an undisclosed location or a possible dimension where the bodies will never ever be found. He sometimes is reported to wear a bowler hat similar to what the Hatman wears. Sometimes it's a different kind of hat, but normally he doesn't wear hats. He is said to float or drift and not walk, and which suggests that he isn't a real human being, but some kind of creature or possible some form of alien life. He's been seen mostly at night, peeping in people's windows, but also seen during the daytime hanging around near children. And even though he's been seen hanging around children, there have been reports that some of those children that he was near have actually suddenly disappeared and never been seen again. And that's all I wrote down. So
Hard to say, really.
is he some kind of like humanoid creature? Is he something from a different parallel universe? Is he an alien? Or is it just in people's heads, their imagination? Which I think it is. Because there's no
I'd say maybe imagination.
Dave?
Yes, mate. Do you want my opinion?
Yeah. Well,
He's known to be a creepy pasta myth meme, invented in 2009.
Yep.
And that's pretty much it, really. These people done cosplay about it, which has sort of drove it. I mean, they know the people who invented the so-called Slender Man symbol, a company called Marble Hornets. The writings of an author sort of influenced it, H.P. Lovecraft.
Yeah.
Starred in literature and bits like that since, really. But as you've said, that's how it's pretty much depicted. But urban legend, urban myth, and like I said, creepypasta internet meme.
Mm.
From about, so it's about
Yeah,
what, 12
creepypasta
years
I
old it's
usually
been going
make out
about.
crap.
So
And
a
there's been-
12-year-old internet meme, complete and utter rubbish. Urban myth, urban legend invented by kids.
Yeah. But although there's been movies based on the Slender Man as well, why do people still state, or why do people state that they've actually seen him in real life?
Because they like making stuff up, getting attention.
Yeah.
Probably to get people interested.
You know, there'll be little bits of stuff what makes its way in. You know, that sort of add to it, fuel to it. There you go. Is exactly that. Yeah, Tulpa.
Hello, Rev. You want to come in? Feel free to. I'll drop the link.
So the manifest of imagination.
Yeah.
Yeah, you've just got to look at reports of Slender Man. You could sort of like add a little bit of belief into something if there's reports that go date back over years and years and years. But considering there's nothing about him pre-2009, pre-meme, then that sort of answers itself, really, doesn't it? You know.
I looked on Wiki earlier and it said like it first started off as a story from 2009. Hello, Rev. Welcome to the chat, or the normal chat, or the bollocks, or what you want to call it.
Hello there.
Hey.
First
How are you doing?
appearance of Slender Man,
So it's
June
just,
the 10th, 2009. Yeah, it's fake crap.
Yeah, but like all myths and legends, like when we was talking about the Dogman, which I don't really want to be going into again at the moment tonight, but that surely started off as a myth and a legend, but ended up possibly could be real. So how do you know the Slender Man might not be real?
He's as real as you want him to be. He's just a manifestation of everything that everybody has come up with. I mean, and that's just the basis of what a tulpa is. He's, it's all about intent. So,
See, no one's really ever got any proof that it really exists anyway. There's no documentary evidence that someone's taken a photo of it, in real life, or no one's reported that their child's gone missing by someone all dressed in black with long fingernails and no facial appearance in their face. And,
yeah.
I know many hundreds and thousands of people go missing, but
Well, if anybody, not to, bring up pop culture or anything like that, but if anybody remembers the old Buffy the Vampire Slayer episode called Hush, with the character called the Gentleman.
I never watched that.
They were.
I used to watch Buffy when I was younger, but don't remember that episode.
Yeah, they were the creepy guys that stole everybody's voices, and they were very tall and slender, and they had no hair, and they were very pale, and they floated around, and you can look them up on the interwebs. But they went around and stole everybody's. They stole everybody's voices. You couldn't talk, and they would go around and killed everybody. And that's kind of conceptually where that character came from. The concept of the Slender Man kind of came from that character. In what they looked like, and walked around, they were dressed in suits, the black suits with the black ties and everything. So you can look up that character called the Gentleman from that episode.
So even some people could actually mistaken it as the Men in Black. There's been rumours that Men in Black go around kidnapping people as well. But that's just rumours. Where do Men in Black come from? Is it FBI? Is it aliens?
Men in Black predominantly sort of like were reported during the years of Project Blue Book and Project Grudge. So you're talking the 50s and 60s mainly, when they were started to come into sort of like culture again, shall we say, paranormal, supernatural, ufological culture. But the Slender Man, you can date him back. You can follow the trail to when he was the came about as a conception. It's just urban myth, urban legend, spouted from internet and TV show.
And books.
I'm sure, and did somebody say there was a film about it now as well, I believe?
Yeah, there's a couple of movies on the Slender Man.
One came out in 2018.
Me and Simon James did a video on the Slender Man ourselves. When Otis Streatham Common, I dressed up as Slender Man, had a thing over my face, and Simon was the victim. And no, actually Simon was the Slender Man. I was the victim, running around in the trees and behind the great big logs and trying to run away from this supposed Slender Man, which was Simon James. Quite funny, actually. But,
it wasn't a completely terrible movie,
Yeah.
Could have been better.
Yeah, there's definitely a movie out there. A lot of people also have done their own little Slender Man videos on YouTube. I've seen quite a few people do their own little YouTube videos on Slender Man.
There's a Roblox game based on Slender Man. My son likes it.
Yeah, there's a Roblox based on it, seriously. Unbelievable. Yeah, Jane, if one of the paranormal groups on Facebook, a member posted a pic and said she saw a tall man watching it, it was Slender Man, she said. Well, she's obviously mistaken it for something else. Don't believe everything you hear or see on Facebook and or YouTube, Jane.
Yeah. People do that to make things up on the internet.
Yeah, right there, because too many people make up too many false stories. That's how legends and myths starts, I suppose, in one way. But when you've got things out there which are real and you don't understand, and it is kind of scary, seeing things that are coming out from the wilderness, like the Sasquatch and Dog Man and Mothman and God knows how many other kinds of Chupacabra. So there are a lot of things out there which people have spoken about, many, many years ago, which people did not believe until they started seeing them and somehow recording them and taking photos of them.
Well, I mean, I suppose that depends upon the specific incident, because if you're looking at Bigfoot or Yeti or things like that, they've been reported for thousands of years, really, through the indigenous populations of the different countries they've been sighted in. The ability to try to capture them is relatively new, but in the grand scheme of things, people seeing them is not. And the way that they're represented, I mean, they're captured in cave art, in carvings. It isn't new. It's just how new it comes to the public attention, or how new it is to the Western world.
Yeah, Michael.
what I'm saying is that, you know, anything which people believe, it always starts from story, you know, like even, you know, like Dogman or Sasquatch, you know. You had to take one person to see it to pass that information on. So you're telling the story of what you've seen.
But
And
technically,
then
you're having a sighting, aren't you? You're having a sighting to tell the story of what you've seen.
that's right, yeah.
So it's an event that leads to a story, which then becomes either legend or folklore or urban myth, or something that people start to actively pursue.
Exactly.
Yes.
Or any other opinions on it? No.
I
Slender
don't really
Man.
know what to say.
I think it's a man-made construct. It's like I say, TV show, internet meme, stroke, you know,
Yeah.
film, but there's nothing behind it. And then people will project it. You will get what's called associative thinking. People will be aware of the legend, and whenever they suffer sleep paralysis, other moments of transient ischemic type of, like, you know, mania, or just seeing things through pareidolia, will associate urban myth, and legend, and start to do pattern matching. They call it pattern matching. They will put that in place of the image that they actually see, or associate it with that urban myth or legend. So people will then start to see Slender Man because they believe it to be real.
Yeah, I'll go with what you say, Dave.
So I could go down, say, like on the coast, and make up a story saying, well, I saw a man that, you know, had like octopus kind of like, you know, arms or something, you know, and I could call it the Octo-Man. And, you know, just making a story up like that can become a myth, a legend, a story that can be spread around, and people might want to believe it and create their own kind of stories behind it. A lot of these are just stories that have been made up. I don't even believe, to be honest with you. I know you know, in the paranormal field, you do see like shadows, and you know, people say like they've seen the Hat Man, which we're going to go on to in a sec. But how many people have really been? How many people have actually really seen the Hat Man, for one? How many people have actually documented the Hat Man? Is there any video? Is there any photographs of the Hat Man out there? Because what I'm going to say is that I've only just wrote a few notes down on this one. Hat Man wears a hat and a trench coat. Sometimes he can have red eyes. Sometimes they have different colour eyes. What else is it? He can actually form other types of shadows. So he's just not like, you know, the form of a man wearing a hat. He can actually manipulate himself into a different form of shadow. So he wears like a trench coat and a hat. He does other stuff like he can appear to people, to those he wants to appear to only. No, you won't appear to anyone he don't want to appear to. He chooses his victims. He sometimes hovers over people when they're sleeping. People have seen him hovering over them when they're awake, but most of the time, apparently, they see him in the corner, near a doorway, or near a closet, or peering out from a closet. Is it a myth? Is it real, or is it some kind of interdimensional being that is coming through our dimension and showing itself? Some people will say they could be some form of alien species that are coming down and documenting us humans. There is no possible way that they can actually, like, you know, teleport us or beam us aboard to the alien aircraft. You know, it's just a shadow figure, or possibly some form of alien being watching us and trying to scare us. Some people say it's like a dark entity, more like a demon, but there's no proof in that. Hello, Naps. Want to come in, mate? I'll send you the link.
He's just become a subscriber and supporter
Yeah.
of the channel, Steve.
Thank you for that, matey. Well, I've already subscribed to his channel. But
Welcome.
mostly
No,
the Hat Man is something that is supposed to be paranormal. We can't prove it's like either an alien or interdimensional being or some kind of like spirit, entity, demon. Everyone's got their own kind of like thoughts about it. But they do like scaring people. And that's all I got on that one.
Right, feel free to dive in, everybody.
Don't all go at once, I mean,
Well, it's the same kind of thing, isn't it? All you got to do is look throughout history, or rather, which is a very short one in this particular instance, at the type of sightings.
I've got to tell you, apparently the Shadow Man goes back to 9000 BC, apparently.
That's a long time.
I've got to read that bit. I put it in now, I've got to read that. So carry on, sorry.
Okay, well, you've sort of answered your own question then, Steve. So you believe he's real?
No, I don't.
Why?
I don't know. I feel that there are shadow people out there, yeah, but a Hat Man, to me, a Hat Man and a shadow person, it's the same thing. Even like, when you look around the corner, you see like a great big blob of a black shadow. I think it's all the same kind of thing. Just
well, by very definition, nobody's trying to say it isn't the same thing.
No.
Allegedly, Hat Man is a type of shadow man. What I'm saying to you is, why do you not believe that Hat Man is real as a shadow man or shadow person? Just out of interest. Before I start going on myself about what I think about Hat Man, why do you believe them to be different? Why do you think they're mutually exclusive?
I don't know. No, I do believe that shadow men do exist, but I think it's where people interpret it, where they think that, they see it as they see it. It's, like, I could turn around and say, well, I've never seen a shadow man. I've never seen a Hat Man, but I've seen a shadow man. I think it's where people add things onto the story, I'm not saying that, a shadow man can actually manipulate a hat on top of his head. But I need to see it to believe it,
Okay, Matthew, I sent you the link in Twitter, by the way. If you have a look in there, brother, you'll find it.
It's actually been posted like 5 times on here.
Go on, Shan.
Unfortunately, this is a subject that I cannot chime in on.
Have you got it, Matt? Right. Well, I mean, the thing is, Steve, is he's looked at being all sorts of things, from a shadow person that stares at you from the corner to being the harbinger of bad news. And there's so many things over the years that have allegedly been the harbinger of bad news. Now, I'd say if you see something that's disturbed you in your sleep at night, that's pretty bad news in itself, isn't it, really?
Yeah.
There's obviously some kind of emotional discomfort going on. If sleeping patterns out of the window, for a start, which never gets called into question, there's something obviously going on within your life. Now, he appears as lots of different things too. Lots of different things, and spotted all over the world.
Yeah.
Okay. Actual proof of his reports of going back to 8000 BC actually hasn't been validated. There is no validation that any of them reports are true, and that actually his existence only goes back another few decades. It's actually a fairly new construct, because before then it was just shadow people, and even shadow people is a new terminology, because it was just dark shapes, or it was ghosts, or it was spirits. People either believed in absolutes or they didn't, especially dependent upon the religious leanings as well. The other thing about Atman is he's claimed to attack people and he's claimed to help people. So there's massively disparate reports about what he is supposed to be. People see them bending over him when he's asleep, floating above them, or like just like coming out of the ground and walking away. So there isn't any kind of like definitive sort of like framework with which people can judge him against. Sometimes he can scratch people, sometimes he can talk to people, sometimes he says nothing at all. He's often associated with sleep paralysis. Now, anything that's associated with sleep paralysis always raises the warning bells with me, because people won't accept that there's such a thing as hypnagogic and hypnopompic sleep. They don't understand that you can see it before you go to sleep, because to them they're awake. It's like, I haven't been to sleep yet. I wasn't asleep. I was still awake. But the brainwave patterns is still changing. It's the same when you're coming out of sleep. But people don't want to accept that as being a reason as to why the body can't move, but the other parts of the senses are still awake. They can still see, or at least think they're seeing things, or hear, or still think they're hearing things. They can still have, episodes of apophenia, but they don't understand that. The people won't relate to that, because it means admitting that their experience that they've had is psychological rather than spiritual or natural or supernatural.
So he's always
is he? Oh, hello, Matthew. Sorry, I was.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Come on, Dave.
Thank
you for coming on, Matt. Sorry, Dave, carry on.
You did raise a good point, though. Every time he comes on, he is always stuffing his face.
Yeah, I like stuff in my face as well.
So, although he's been like, there's information from him being recorded back to 9,000 BC. There have been, I think, some documentation, but not a lot of documentation regarding the Hat Man. But there are actual drawings, I think, on cave walls of like a shadow kind of being. But is a Hat Man the same as the Shadow Man, or is it completely different? Because I would believe more in the Shadow Man than the Hat Man, because I think there's more on there's more on the Shadow Man than there is a Hat Man that I see.
I think you're starting to you're starting to get into the realms of semantics then when you're talking about that, because fundamentally, if you're seeing a shadow person, you're seeing a shadow person, and the Hat Man, people are saying they've seen him as a kid and see it regularly. So from being a kid right through to adulthood, they can have experiences where they allegedly see this Hat Man, which sort of flies in the face really against most other sort of spiritual sightings, which tend to be really fleeting, short-lived, and unexpected. Unless, of course, you're in an environment where there's spiritual activity around the house all the time, and people are seeing shapes or shadows or figures within their home all the time. And that sort of goes hand in hand with when people report alien abductions, that can travel through generations. It can happen to them when they're a kid, as they're growing up, then passed on from the mother, passed on from the grandmother, because a lot of the times it seems to be centered around the females of the household. When you look at the prevalence of reports, rather than dying off, it's grown. It's grown as an internet phenomenon. It has fueled it. It's grown as there's been more media about it, social media about it.
Well, they also claim the Hat Man as the Cigar Man, a shadow figure that will sit there and either smoke a cigar or a cigarette and just watch from a distance. It won't say anything to you. It won't do anything. It'll like lean against a wall, whatever. And as soon as it gets done smoking a cigarette, it will disappear. It also reports of the Hat Man in certain places, certain houses, where he is smoking a cigarette too.
Sorry.
I didn't know about that. The Hat Man's been known to smoke cigarettes and cigars. Didn't see anything about that.
Yeah, absolutely. It's the
Yeah.
same kind of carry on. If you're going to see a shadow figure from whatever, if you're going to see the spirit of somebody who died in the 1800s, then the shadow of their apparition could be wearing a hat that is a tricorn or bicorn hat from that era.
Mm-hmm.
And just by default, you're seeing that apparition. It doesn't mean that that is an entity in as of itself. If you hang on a minute, I'll drop the link.
So will I.
Oh, it
So-
doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You've modded it. It's okay. I
You know,
was just going to
they
drop
did
it.
say that the Hat Man does wear various different hats. One being the bowler hat. Then there was another particular hat which I can't remember, so I can write it down.
Fedora.
It's usually a fedora, yeah.
Fedora, yeah, that's
Yeah.
right.
Well, that tells you a lot of things in itself. Unless he's a fashion guru following the most recent and crazy trends, you know what I mean? And he's got like a wardrobe full of these things. It just fits in with the time period. I think people are seeing what they purport to be a full body apparition from the time period that's relevant to the dress they think they're seeing.
Yeah, well, they've also said that
There's
they.
people.
Some people state that
Go
they
ahead.
see him wearing a top hat as well.
Well, that just supports exactly what I'm saying. Yeah, because it'll be the spiritual full body apparition of somebody from the era where people would wear that kind of garb.
Here in Texas, people have reported seeing the Hat Man, but he wears like a 10-gallon cowboy hat.
Exactly.
So,
Do you think there's different
you know,
versions?
like
of that?
I think if it was an entity, like people are sort of trying to allude to, then he would have a form. He wouldn't have different dress that suits all the different regions that people see him in.
Yeah.
That wouldn't make sense. It's like if he existed as an entity, even if it's a Gestalt entity or a preternatural entity, an ultranatural entity, whatever. If he was an entity in his own right, why should it matter what he wears if he wants to appear to somebody in a different country? He shouldn't have to feel the need, or it shouldn't have to feel the need to change its clothing to suit the viewpoint of the person he's visiting or trying to scare. He could just quite easily appear in a cowboy hat to me to freak me out. He shouldn't have to wear something that looks more English to appear to me. Do you understand where I'm coming from? The fact that the clothing and how he appears to look suggests that it goes in with the sociological implications of the people that he's scaring or being allegedly seen by.
Right. I mean, maybe it could be an intelligent entity that it takes on different forms and everything for the area that's at to probably put you at ease rather than to scare you. Because if you know, it's that visual identification. You know, like if they look like something that you know from your country's history, you could play it off and say, "Oh, it's not Hat Man. It could be somebody from, say, you know, the early 1900s in England. You know, like dressing that way."
But the thing is, you can't really tell what kind of clothes he's wearing, can you? If he's in the shadow. You can see the kind of hat he wears, and a lot of people do say that, you know, they can see his eyes are like bright red, but you can't see no other features, can you?
Which is pretty much the epitome of what a shadow person is, though, isn't it? Apart from the shining red eyes, really.
It's not where they said like a dust or goes down to like until like the mid calf of the leg, and they can see like him wearing boots or shoes or something like that.
It's breaking up again to me.
Yeah.
You've just been tweeted.
Yeah, I can do that. Can't see one chat at the moment. Oh, there it is. I thought
You've just been tweeted out, by the way, Steve.
I've added Matt as a mod.
Won't make much of a difference if you can't even get in the chat, though, Jane. But okay.
But I don't believe in stereotyping saying that it's a shadow man. It could. I believe that they're all just shadow people,
Yeah.
not just one evil, alpha shadow person running around the streets. Because it happens in too many places.
Who talking to Shrimp?
Hey, Angela. It's not a shadow person.
See, how often do people see, either Shadow Man or Hat Man? I've not even seen one myself. I've seen like a shadow kind of figure, but it's not like an actual figure. It's just like a big blob. That's all I've ever seen. So could that possibly be the start of a manifestation of a shadow person? Well, actually, I'll say I'd never have. We did capture something in my living room, which Dave knows about. One of my Wi-Fi cameras went offline, and as it came back on, you saw like a blob that, to a lot of us, we believe it did try and show itself as a humanoid figure.
I think I remember that video. Didn't it give itself out like a figure of a woman or something?
I think it has to be noted here that I don't think that that's what happened, but seeing as how you put my name into that context, I want people. That's not what I said. That's not what I believe it is. Another thing about it is the thing about you're going on about Hat Man, but there's all sorts of theories that surround him, Steve. Like he's an astral projection, and that is an interdimensional being.
Mm. No, I meant you saw the video of what I saw.
I did.
And I still believe it could have possibly been a form of a figure. And a lot of people
I think it's a digital artifact on the camera.
Probably, yeah.
Pixel. Is that what you call them? Pixel?
Well, pixelization is the actual components that make up the resolution in a videographic or photographic image. An artifact is an unwanted remnant that the sensor picks up due to light anomalies or interference.
Well, let me find it.
What if, just throwing this out there just for shits and giggles, pardon my language, what if you knew somebody that actually had a personal experience and could verify personally the validity of the reality of
Angela? That's what you were saying, Rev.
of an actual physical manifestation of the being.
I would give a thumbs up and say come forward.
What?
Well, I've got the video, right? Let me share the video and
No, you've been asked. Hang on a minute, Steve. You've been asked a question. What did you say, Matthew? Before we
I
do,
said
what did
I
you
would
say?
give a thumbs up and then say come forward and tell your experience.
I would say that it's indicative of having an experience.
Well, I experienced something in the living room on my DVR at that time.
Steve, you've still been asked a question. You're not answering it. You've gone off and tried to show your video.
No, it's sure. I can't hear Matt properly.
It wasn't Matt who asked it.
Oh, right. Who asked me a question? Sorry. I was trying to find the video.
Ever asked you the question?
What happens if you knew somebody who could validate by having a physical manifestation of that entity or being.
Now, unfortunately, there is no video evidence or anything along those lines. It's just personal experience,
Yeah.
but it is.
Well, I've had experiences under different kind of like things, you know, like I've experienced like shadow movements. I've experienced like I've had one experience I've had is like sleep paralysis. Another experience is when I was in temp accommodation. I saw like a white shimmery kind of like long thin object go past the kitchen, and then it went back the opposite way of the kitchen and went into the bathroom. And then I've experienced this one, which I'll show you.
But he wants to show that video.
I know that.
Okay,
Yeah, he's
let-
totally ignoring the people that he's got on his panel, but at least he gets his touch to show his video. Yeah.
Right, there's if you look up here in the top corner,
2016. Only 5 years ago.
it's up on the top corner of the video.
You look so young, Steve.
So the camera goes offline. See, this is my experience. I've never seen or heard of anyone else having the same experience, or the only thing I've seen is what's been posted on YouTube.
I don't know what to say about these spirit people.
Randy, have a wonderful
I don't
evening,
hunt
sweetheart. Kisses. Love you.
Well, the answer is in the recording. The video goes offline. The camera's. You need to look into what a CMOS sensor does, or a computerized metal oxide semiconductor, because then you will understand why, when you're getting a dropout, that when the image returns, you're getting black artifacts on the video. It's a well-known phenomenon in videography, Steve. I've tried to tell you this. To me, it just looks like you got a black artifact on the screen because the either the power or the signal dropped out and then it booted back up.
Yeah, but to me, I would have thought if that happened, that would have. You see, like, you know, you can see like a body, and you see two legs.
No, that's not what I'm seeing, and I've just told you. I've just told you why that happens, technically and scientifically why that happens. It's a well-known phenomenon that happens when a CMOS sensor, usually an ACPS crop sensor, drops out and then gets power coming back to it. You get a blackened artifact like that. It's called smudging.
Yeah, but why does it not smudge the whole screen in and only partial of the screen?
Because that's the way digital artifacts work.
Yes.
That black part could have appeared at any part within that, and it could have taken any pattern. It's just that on that night it appeared where it did and appeared in that shape.
Yeah, true. But it's still a phenomenon, though, isn't it?
Well, the only thing that is strange, and which that can still probably be explained, is the fact that the signal dropped out momentarily and then came back in on that camera. Now, I think Shannon has a story to tell regarding Hatman, which she's been trying to tell us a couple of times now.
No, I'm
Yes,
just,
carry on. Yeah, carry on.
just throwing a theory out. It's a theory. It's a hypothetical situation.
Well, they all are, aren't they, really, when you're dealing with the paranormal?
Hypothetically, if someone had a 7-foot, okay, caveat, I don't use the D word, period. Anybody that knows me knows that I do not use the D word.
You mean diamond? Damon.
Yes, that one.
Ian.
Damon.
I have reasons. I've been doing this shit for 30 years.
Wow.
I
Before I was
am a
born.
demonologist. Trained. I spent 14 years in college. I have 6 college degrees. 4 of them happen to be doctorates.
Huh.
I kind of know what I'm doing.
A
So,
little bit.
so I digress. When you have a 7-foot demon
Thing.
in your living room, hypothetically, for a week, hanging out in the corner, watching, not doing anything, just watching. That is talking to you, telling you why it's here. And everybody that knows me knows that I'm a little bit special, and not in the short bus kind of way. No offense, anybody.
Yay!
Believe me, my son is a member of the short bus crew. So let's just say I have some personal experience with um, the the gentleman of whom we speak.
Can you explain what it looks like and what does it say?
Yeah. And this particular manifestation did not have red eyes. So, it's not your typical shadow figure. Does it look like one? Yeah. But it's a manifestation. Interdimensional? Most likely. Because if you look at it in the sense of documented locationalities and where he crops up at different times at different locationalities. He's at different places at the same times documented. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So unless he's sending out minions or scouts to do dirty work, if you will, then you kind of have to go with the whole interdimensionality concept, because then it's sort of like, well, otherwise you got to go a little bit. You have to more delve into the whole interdimensionality realm to explain the how can you be in more than one place at the same time, But then you go into the whole, well, hell, we're talking about paranormal stuff anyway, so you just sort of have to throw reason and sense out the window in the first place. you know, so
Where's Dave?
Spit it out, sis.
I'm trying to, but my words aren't working very well today, Matt.
I know. I'm just messing with you, sis. Love you, big sis.
I know.
Yeah, Dave's gone to reset. He said in the chat,
Oh, right.
private chat. He went to
Where'd he
reset
go?
because of phone.
I don't
He
read
had to
one.
do what? Reset what?
I think he was having trouble with his audio, and he said he was going to reset. So that's why he's gone. Probably will try and come back in.
So I can't see private chat on here for some reason on the StreamYard, which is weird. Yeah, me. Oh,
I've
there it
never
is.
had experience. Well, I don't know. You could, I guess you could call it a Shadow Man experience. Maybe.
Well,
But when I was younger,
Only had a
technically, I'm
voice
not
Yeah.
supposed to
experience
talk about
once.
it because of work.
yeah, I know. It's all good.
But you know what? At this point, I'm already up shit creek enough as it is.
Does that entity in your home, does he have any kind of clothing on?
It's hard to tell.
Yeah.
It's difficult to tell. I can see you in the chat, Dave.
Yeah, we got your messages in the private chat, Dave.
Yeah.
It's difficult to tell, Steve. Just because it's very
I see you, Dave.
dense looking. It's almost one dimensional. It's very
It's like solid, but not solid, right?
yeah, it's hard to describe. It's almost this is going to sound almost ridiculous, but it's almost moist looking.
Moist. Noise.
Matt.
Moist.
Moist.
But it's got that sort of
Like
texture to it that it's
Yeah.
like sort of, you look at something that's wet,
like oily.
yeah, it's got that sort of weird texture to it when you look at something. It's
I can help you. It's like oil that's been put in epoxy.
yeah, it's got it. You look at like a parking lot that's got that sheen to it,
Yeah.
like wet oil. You know,
Yeah.
when it's just started raining and the water beads up on the oil that's on the surface of the road, it looks like it's got that moisture on it.
I know when people die. I know when people die, because I was with my dad when he died. His face went kind of a greyish colour, and the texture of his skin was more like a waxy kind of feel to it.
Yeah, it's it reminds me of what's the movie, Jeepers Creepers?
Yeah.
Never seen it.
Does that make sense?
Never seen it, sis.
Jeepers Creepers.
Yeah, I never seen it.
Yeah, I've seen all three of them. They've got another one coming out later with next year or two. But he's scary. He's more of a scary kind of person.
Grayish consistency. Only it's like that that moist, oily kind of. I'm trying really hard to describe it, but it's just so weird. You know, Dave, I see
Can
you,
you
babe.
hear us, Dave? Dave, we see you.
We see you, but we can't hear you because you're not in here. And I've sent you a link on Facebook and on here.
No, he's saying hello in the chat. Like,
yeah, I know.
I don't think he's seeing the chat.
I know he had problems with YouTube last night, didn't he? He said they couldn't see chat.
Yeah. Hmm.
So how old does this
You
entity
see this,
look
Dave?
like?
Use it.
How old would you look to say it looked like? Does it look like an old kind of being, or is it young or
No, it's ancient.
ancient?
Ow! 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 I feel old.
VCAM.
Oh.
What? VCAM.
VCAM.
Oh, baby girl.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to VCAM, brought to you by VCAM, sponsored by VCAM.
VCAM.
Hear me?
For all your
Can you
VCAM
hear me?
needs, VCAM.
Can you hear me, Steve?
Yeah. Just
You can hear me?
Yeah, we hear you, Dave.
turn your
I
mic
don't
up.
know what went
Dave.
on. I don't know what went on with the so I got like
Ladies and gentlemen, VCAM.
Well, it shows for VCAM shit. It's just gone offline.
Right? Well,
Sorry. As you can tell, I haven't gotten any sleep.
Yeah. Well, me and Dave was up till about 8 o'clock this morning. So, I tried to get some sleep, but the knaves kept banging around as usual. So I ended up being awake a little earlier than I expected. So
what the
I'm
hell
not going
did
to be
y'all
on.
start doing? Y'all talk about Shadow Man, and my stuff starts messing up too now.
Well, yeah. Hello. Were you not in that live stream that we were in, but everything started going ballistic?
Well, you did miss
Yeah.
the slight topic about Slender Man.
I'm back.
Oh, the Slender Man can go somewhere.
Yeah, that's been recorded as like I suppose. Well, there's a lot of documentation on the Slender Man, but it's not proven as a fact as a.
Yeah, the thing about Slender Man, there's a report from the Catholic Church that calls this type of creature a advanced ghoul, and it has extended arms, extended legs, and it crawls like it can stand up straight only for a few moments, but to get around, it has to crawl on hands and feet, and it is completely pale and mummified. But some cryptid that go down to very big and tall shop and pick up a mosquito and start walking around.
Why all of a sudden do you sound like you're at the deep end of the pool?
I
He's
don't
in
know.
his car now, I think.
I have no clue.
I think when
My
you're in your car,
phone screen went blank, and this happened.
I'm sorry, I just read Jamie's comment in the private chat.
Yeah.
I'm back now.
I'm a little slow. Sorry.
The box, and now I'm back.
Welcome back.
Well, that was a nice comment, isn't it? You just say, I'm going to the bathroom. I'll be back in a minute.
Now the detailed version.
That's the PG version of it.
No, you're not being blocked, Dave.
For the sake of dropping the kids off the pool.
You have not been blocked here.
No, you're not being blocked. Why would I block you?
I blocked you. You've been muted.
Oh,
You're muted, sir.
Try coming in again.
Go away and then come back.
Reboot your PC. You didn't say nothing wrong. You're not blocked.
It's Hatman.
I just gave you the 12 version of my next message in the chat.
Yeah, Dave, we see you, honey. You're not blocked. You haven't done anything wrong. You're perfectly fine. Go out of YouTube. Come back.
Try and reset if you can, Dave.
Yeah, the match disappeared. Now I think like your spirits don't like us talking about Hatman and
That's
Slender.
exactly what it is. He doesn't like it. That's the
Well,
reason why the cat was hanging out in my freaking living room for a week. Is because it's a test. He doesn't like people talking about him. It's a power play.
Oh, we're not the only one who talks about it, are we? You know, there's billions of people who talk about it daily, I suppose.
It's power play. When we started at work, we started doing an investigation on him, and he immediately started attacking everybody at work. So we had to shut down the investigation. That's why technically I'm not supposed to be talking about it.
So, what kind of things do you do yourself in the paranormal field?
Well, by trade, I'm a demonologist.
Right.
But I just do mainly these days. I just do general paranormal investigation. In December, I started working with Parachills. I was the director for U.S. investigations for them for a while, and now I'm the CFO. So don't do investigations for them anymore. I still do them personally. Of course, just locally right now here because I'm in Texas. North Texas, I'm in Dallas. Matt's down in San Antonio. I'm up in Dallas.
Have you done any investigations around near the Alamo? That's supposed to be pretty good.
It's been years since I've been down to the Alamo. Long time. Trying to think of how many years it's been. God. I think it's been 15 years since I've been down there. 14 years. Last time I was in San Antonio, it was my daughter's 6th birthday. So yeah, and she's about to turn 20. So, hey, Shrimpy.
Hello,
Right,
shrimp.
Shrimp shack, Shrimpy.
So, have you ever had any unusual encounters for the spirit world?
Any what?
Unusual encounters.
Oh yeah,
Tell us.
a lot. Probably more than I care to admit. It's been an interesting road. Can't get back on, Matt says. Why not? What is it telling you?
Dave just said on Facebook he's struggling to get in, keeps dropping.
Is the link not working?
It's working perfect. Could be internet issues. So I've just told him to reboot his router.
What error message are you getting?
He just said, I'm struggling to get in, keeps dropping him, or keeps dropping me, but that's Henry means.
Link unusable.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Don't understand.
Well, I'm sending the same link that I normally send
Error 2.
when we get in.
Boy, when he hits quick.
I don't know why Matt can't join. I know Matt has a lot of problems with his internet, but I don't understand why
Telling you.
people are having the same issue.
I'm telling you, this is exactly what happens each and every time you start talking about him. He hits quick.
I just click the link and it's working for me. Look, I'll share my screen. All right, click on that. Go onto YouTube. There's the link I've posted.
You are entering a broadcast studio.
Yeah, so it's working.
Paycheck.
I know you not YouTube, but Google's been doing some messing around with their software, so has YouTube apparently.
Clear out the pages on your phone, Matt, and then go back into it. Like, just clear the cache on your phone.
Oh, I know what you do. Try cleaning your system cache files. Go into settings and clear cache. That might work.
Ow, quit it. Ow, quit it. Qu'est-ce que c'est ça?
About Simpson.
Oh, dear Jesus. Verb. Oh, now I'm getting a message from work. What do you want? It's my day off, for crying out loud. Leave me alone. I get one day off a week, people. Oh, it's you. Oh. I say, it's anything important, you can wait until tomorrow. I don't deal with important stuff on Sundays.
I have too many streams.
Only non-important things on Sundays. Does anybody else do that?
What?
Just, you don't, important things, it's like, no.
Yeah. I suppose a lot of stuff, but I just get too tired and I just don't want to do nothing, you know.
I don't even know where Sunday is anymore. Let alone.
I'm like, sometimes I don't even want to bother. So the most important thing that I want to deal with on a Sunday is coffee. Speaking of which.
Some Sundays when not in lockdown, I go, what?
Waitress.
Yeah.
Waiter.
Mate, but a nice cup of coffee.
Easy on Sunday morning.
I don't have any cash on
You
me.
should sing like that.
Oh, thanks.
Well, I suppose if them two can't get in, I might as well close the stream down and see if they can start one up and jump on today's stream.
Maybe, yeah.
You know, if he can get a stream working, if he can't get back on here, but he's able to do his own stream, we can nip over there, I suppose, and carry on with the conversation over there.
Wait, who's going to start their own stream?
I don't know what he's doing. I've not had nothing.
Oh, okay. I was like, wait, what?
No, I'm just saying, like, if them two can't get back in because they're getting an error, then maybe if Dave tries to open the stream himself and it works, I can close this one down and we'll go and join him over on his channel.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea.
But,
He can, I can, whoever can.
no,
I can
someone
just make
else try to jump in on the link.
unusual and obscure hand movements. Hypnotic, isn't it?
No, if someone else on the side chat was able to just click on a link to see if it connects to them, well, they don't have to join it. All they've got to do is they will join it, but they don't have to enter the actual stream itself. They just click on a link and see if the link's working for them.
Hi, Ron.
Hi, Ron.
Ron
Thank
Weasley.
How'd the coffee? Yes, this is the Swedish Chef coffee. Today's coffee brought to you by...
Swedish Chef.
Not today, Satan.
Don't understand it. I know he had problems with his stream last night because he couldn't see the chat. I can only think it's either a cache issue, which you normally have to clear all your cache from your settings on the Explorer, or if it's Google or not Google, Google, Chrome or Firefox or whatever, you go in, clear your cache. That sometimes work things out. But it could also be a router issue. Be anything. Could be them not wanting us to talk about the topics. No, I don't even think. No, he's not even trying to do a stream himself.
It's amazing what happens when you clean your glasses.
What's that say? Hot day, Satan.
Yeah, it's not today, Satan. My coffee mug. Not today, Satan merch available at Red Critter Merch.
Well, Jane just tested it. It didn't come in, but she said the link's working. So I don't know why they can't get in.
Yeah, I don't know. I have to let my YouTube chat catch up with my StreamYard chat.
I don't know.
It would start going along with
Let's go.
Right, Matt's back. He's going to try again.
Right on.
I don't know what happened to Nubs. I thought Nubs might have jumped in, but it didn't come in. Welcome back, Matt.
Hi,
Hey,
Matt.
see how long this works.
So what was the problem on your side? You're getting an error.
Yeah, it was doing error 205, link unstable. It said.
Is Matt's ghost pig following him around again?
Please.
Probably.
Ghost pig.
You want to jump
He
in,
said
Ron?
he's gonna reboot his computer and try to get on.
Yeah, I sent him a message, reboot his PC, clear the internet cache. And also reboot his modem, his router, reset it.
Hey, Ron.
Yeah, Ron, he's been on, but he's got internet problems or computer problems. If you want to jump in, Ron, feel free to join the chat. Everyone's welcome. We'll just wing it for now.
Yeah, come on.
Oh, yeah, got gone.
Oh, why you gotta be a dick? Pardon my language. But why do you have to intentionally be a jerk?
Who are you talking about?
Oh,
Yeah, I'm just wondering if it's like something spiritual that's interfering that they don't want us to talk about. Have you heard of that myth, Bloody Mary? Have you ever tried it?
Heard
So
of it.
I was thinking about trying it one day, but I don't know. Some people said they've tried it and really weird things have happened. You know, you just look in the mirror and say Bloody Mary 3 times and all hell breaks loose.
yeah, that's an interesting, urban legend.
Oh, even he's disappeared now. Jesus, what is hell is going on?
Everybody is just like, bye.
Oh, what the fuck's going on?
Jamie's
yeah.
gone, Matt's gone,
Oh, he's back.
Dave's gone.
So
There's
I don't know what happened there.
Yes, Matt's ghost pig is definitely cursing his signal right now. The ghost pig cometh. Oink oink, squeal! Squeal!
Now, is that ghost pig a male or a female? Is it an adult or is it a child pig?
It's a baby pig. It's a piglet.
It's a piglet, eh?
Piglet.
Porky the pig.
I don't know. It's weird. Respect. Jamie, I'm concerned about you. Maybe I just need to pay more attention to the private chat because all of a sudden I just look over. Oh, there's something in the private chat. Click, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, don't mind me. I'm kind of silly at times.
What is with you, man?
Hold on.
I keep thinking, like, you know, why can't I see private chat? I keep forgetting about the private chat box I've got to keep clicking to read the private chat. Because I think they've done a slight alteration with StreamYard. Private chat used to be next to comments, I think.
Well, yeah, because it used to be down there at the bottom, didn't it? Or no, that's on the mobile.
Yeah.
Because I'm used to streaming from my phone. I'm not used to streaming from my crap top. And because the camera on my crap top is horrid, but I'm using it lately.
It's not too bad, the video. You Now, when you move around, it's a little bit laggy when you move about, but you know, when you're sitting
Yeah.
still, it's pretty good.
Okay. It's if I hold really still, it's fine. But I mean, you can hear me.
Yeah.
For a 13-year-old laptop, it's not too bad.
So, do you want to talk about any of your casework which you've done in the past, straight up, or is that kind of like private and confidential? New Era 6.
Or Jamie. I think we should quiz Jamie on what.
Jamie doesn't really do paranormal, do you? That much? You
Too quiet down
Much.
there.
Mm,
And I just
really.
can't stand the sound of my own voice.
I
What
don't
does
really
the
do
chat want
paranormal
to hear?
videos much now.
New Era #6. Don't understand it. What does that mean? New Era #6. Let's have a
I
search.
believe I'm not a massive
StreamYard.
believer in paranormal. I believe some things have an explanation sometimes.
Ron, you and your compliments.
Don't really say nothing on there about #6 on StreamYard. How to fix Era 6 for Windows, but that's for, I think, the operating system. As Era 6 is mostly caused by corrupt or missing dynamic link library DLL files, and that's only if you get a blue screen error. It's not, I don't think, anything to do with. No, I don't. I just checked.
So is it just like an undefined error? Just one
Well,
of
so
those.
if Dave gets back on, well, it gets see if he can create a stream where jump over on each stream. I'm okay with that. I can't really be doing much when people's got problems and can't get on.
If I had his number, I'd send him a message, but I don't.
Yeah, I don't even have his number. I sent him messages on Facebook, but he doesn't give me his number on Facebook.
Anyway, I might go in a minute because my battery's running a bit low.
Yeah, I think I might call it quits actually and see if Dave comes on later. Jump on over there.
Yeah.
Can't really do much. Can't get on.
Yeah, it's a bit quiet around here at the moment.
Yeah, it's not your fault, Matt.
Yeah, it's an error with the system.
You know, it could be either StreamYard issue itself, or it could be Google Chrome. If you're using Google Chrome or Explorer, it could be an issue with connecting to the media service. In the media
Probably,
service, it's off a modem, so it could be a StreamYard connection problem.
possibly.
Yeah.
So if I post that link again, let's see if I can open it up again. Yeah, it's working okay for me.
Yeah, I'll say adios, people. Nice talking with you tonight.
Two.
Yeah.
See you
Oh,
guys.
thanks for coming. Oh, I nearly choked myself then. Thanks for coming on, guys. I'm going to call it quits because it's not worth it if people can't get on. So maybe another night we'll do another stream with some different topics.
Bye
I
bye,
know me and Dave
everybody.
are going to
Bye
be. I know me and Dave are going to be talking on some of the murder mysteries, like serial killers and that, throughout the next few months probably. But we only been doing like one a month, maybe two a month. We might be talking about what one was it we're going to be talking about? The Green River murder. We might be talking about that in a couple of weeks' time.
Cool.
So maybe you can jump in and join with that conversation. I think we might be doing the first one on here, then the second one on days, and going to take turns on doing like serial killers and other kind of case files.
Sounds like fun. Awesome. Well, we'll see if we can get this dumb thing up and running one of these days.
Yeah, well, I'll see. I'll leave now, and if I'll keep an eye out on to see if Dave comes on. He'll probably like do a stream himself if he sees that we're offline. So I'll
Sounds good.
probably
I sent a
see
message
over
on
there.
Twitter. So
All right, cheers anyway. I'll end the stream and might see you over on Dave if he opens one up later.
sounds good. See you soon.
All right, good night.